There's a huge amount of cost tied up in manually processing paper. And I often sort of made the comment that if we were starting the invoicing process today, we wouldn't be thinking about printing on bits of paper and a postman who drives it around and sticks it through a door and then we open the envelope and rekey it in. We wouldn't do that. No one in the 21st century would even think about doing that. But we're used to that. We understand that process. So there's a massive need, if you like, to embrace the change agenda if you're going to unlock what is a sizable cost benefit. There's also a need to manage cash flow, not just for local government, but also for the supply chain. They have a massive challenge to manage cash flow in their organisations. And as local government, you have embraced, I think, that need to support them in managing that cash. Error management. I listened to a presentation earlier talking about fraud. This is a big challenge. I think about 40% of the local government agencies that were interviewed as part of the iGov survey said they had suffered from fraud. I think about another 20% weren't sure. So it's a big issue, but it's not just that, it's also invoices that don't contain the right amount of data for you to process it. So that comes in and that kicks off a massive process that you don't really want to be going into. And it's possible electronic invoicing just to pass that straight back to the supplier with a reason they can fix it and they can resubmit that invoice and get it processed and paid. And that might sound irritating, but the suppliers, again, they love that because they want their invoice to be processed and paid. And if it's in a pending basket with I don't know what this is all about, what contract it was for, was there a purchase order number, it's just never going to get paid. So they want it to come back to them quickly if there are any issues, and they very quickly learn how to make sure that doesn't happen. Archiving clearly becomes easier, and you've got data. You can start to think about what you can do with that information as well as just literally archiving information. The repetitive tasks that we go through, and opening an envelope is not just the least of them, but there's many, many repetitive tasks. If you go through the accounts receivable and the accounts payable process equally, and you look at the number of things that you just do, and you repeatedly do them because that's kind of what you've expected to do, and you've given up that sort of challenge of why are we doing it. Electronic invoicing can actually take many of those away. Process visibility is also key, again for the supply chain. That knowledge that the invoices have been received, have been processed, hopefully to the point they've been approved. You've got that information available to you and to your supply chain as well. Procurement obviously then leaps off the back of that. The strong supply chain, building those relationships which are, that transparency builds trust and builds confidence for those suppliers in working with you, and builds confidence for you as well, knowing that you have suppliers that are working effectively and efficiently on your behalf. And as I said, this rapid access to information, maybe it's something you'll come to in time, but people are starting to realize that if they've got electronic invoices, they have the ability to analyze data that they've been collecting over many years from many suppliers, and can start to look at all sorts of things that in the past probably never really got looked at. You had the information there on paper. Now you've got it as data, you can start to do a lot of things with it, and probably that's one of the areas which is going to be quite a growth area in terms of added value. People often say to me, Tim, why are people not exchanging electronic invoices when the benefits are massive? And I can only say it's a bit like